Well, there are a lot of perfectly reputable people in the amusement machine business, and I don't think this bill's going to hurt any of them. But anybody who is using a vending machine company or amusement machine company for the purpose of controlling taverns is going to get stopped by this bill. The real purpose of it is to separate the ownership and management of the amusement machine business from the ownership and management of the tavern. I want the guy who owns the tavern to be the fellow who's there in the tavern worrying about whether the law is being enforced in that place or not.
Why?
Well, the evidence accumulated by the Corey Committee last summer is that when you get an absentee owner in a tavern, the person who's there in the tavern every night running it is just not as careful about observing the law as the person would be who had his own money invested. And if you've got your money invested in the business, you're going to be pretty darn careful not to get it closed up. If you're just working there at $400 a month as a bartender, you're just not quite as interested. The indications are that there's just an awful lot of crime, vice, violence, which seems to be emanating from the taverns in Texas, and I want to see if this won't go partway toward cleaning them up. We simply don't have time in this session of the legislature to go back over 4 months of studies, 4 months of interviews. We're going to try our best to push this bill on through and to explain it to the legislature quickly. I'm not going to have a lot of witnesses on Monday night. We're just going to present the bill and ask the subcommittee to act quickly.
Did you find it easy to secure marijuana that very first time, or did a friend supply it?
No, it was easy. It always has been.
Always has been. Still is. Is it easier today than it was, what, 2 years ago when you first smoked?
Yes, it's a lot easier today.
A lot easier today. When it was learned that you were using, and when you had that, for sake of a better term, I'll say that confessional with your parents, do you remember how you felt? Was it like a burden lifted from your shoulders?
Exactly. Just exactly. I couldn't have put it better.
Jimmy, what about the heartache? The additional problems? You've walked both sides of the fence. You have made your choice. You are no longer a user. What would you say to some young person who is perhaps facing that temptation to just try it? That's all, just try it. What would you say to these people?
I just say don't be a dope. Just don't be stupid. There are plenty of other ways to enjoy life. And just because the spotlight happens to be on this phase, don't let this push you into trying it, because it's not really all it's knocked up to be.
The regulars back from last year are Bernie Barber and Rhett Little in the secondary, Cedric Hardman or Wayne Wilkins at one end, Wes Ballou at a defensive tackle, Steve Atchley at a linebacker, Chuck Mills at a linebacker, and Richard Gill, who we've moved from tackle to linebacker.
Coach, counting the people who have alternated starting at positions like at Wilkins and Hardman at defensive end zone, I checked the other day and I believe there's something like 15 starters out of the top 22. Then I noticed where a newspaper said that you would go 10-0 next year. What do you think about that?
I think the right guy made that statement. It's a whole lot better for him to say it than one of us.
But you must feel pretty optimistic about it, though.
We feel like we have a chance to have a good team.
Well, we have an exponential increase in scientific knowledges now. Our information is doubling every 10 years. And therefore, there's that much more that could be taught. We are not attempting to teach it, because we have a computer bank which will store that kind of knowledge.
But not everybody has access to a computer bank.
No, nor need everyone know all the information that would be stored in that bank. But what a youngster needs to know is the basic conceptual ideas in science and the processes that science uses to approach these ideas.
Smile, Bob. Smile. Smile, Louis.
Coach Russ, this is the first week of spring training at North Texas. How does the team look?
Well, Fred, we had our first practice yesterday. We were a day late getting started because of the wet grounds. And we left the field real enthused. We'd had a good practice, a lot of pep, and it's probably wrong to get too excited right now, but we're awful happy after just one day. We have 19 more to go.
How many prospects do you have in uniform, Coach?
We have right around 88, which includes, of course, the boys that were recruited to come here, as well as other eligible students that wanted a chance to see if they could make the team.
Okay, offensively, Coach, you have some outstanding returnees back, including quarterback Steve Ramsey. How does it look offensively for you?
Well, of course, Steve has to be a big plus for us. Barry Moore is back, the split end. Mike Marr, Glenn Holloway out of the offensive line are back. Bob Hildebrand, the tight end, is back. Leo Taylor, the running back. The other people are all going to be new. Flanker, 2 linemen, and the fullback.
Okay, Coach, defensively, you got to replace Joe Green, the All-American tackle, the linebacker, James Ivey, who was all-conference. How does it look defensively?
Well, I was asked this question the other day. Defensively, we have to replace 1 All-American and 3 All-Conference players. So whoever fills those shoes better be a good one.